Hey ho, 2 more stories for all my fans, friends, and fantastic subscribers. As always, spelling and grammar mistakes courtesy of Reddit. Lol. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow. Thank you. This story is titled, Sometimes the Best Revenge is No Revenge. A little backstory, my serial cheater ex-boyfriend of 5 years started dating my best friend, whom he cheated on me with, a week after we broke up. I was furious, hurt, confused, and disgusted that not only did I lose my boyfriend, but my best friend in one go. To add salt in the wound, she cheated on her boyfriend to get with mine. She claimed that we're in love and it's God's plan for us to be together. Well, okay then. I wanted so badly to hurt them the way they hurt me, but I decided to take the high road and focus on myself rather than draw out any emotional turmoil. This is where no revenge is the best revenge. My obvious catch of an ex-boyfriend dumped her on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day FFS. And I found out through the grapevine that he was cheating on her too. I guess if you win someone by cheating, you're going to lose them by cheating. Comment 1. The only real question was who was going to cheat on who first. Dumped on Valentine's Day. Your ex is a real class act. Your friend did you a favor by exposing his true nature sooner rather than later. Having said that, the friend can go F herself too. You should be no contact with both of them, but if your friend reaches out, I guess you can tell her, I guess God doesn't like you as much as you thought. Comment 2. Great mindset to have. No revenge needed when cheating is involved. That situation always takes care of itself. Then you can sit back and enjoy the fireworks. Comment 3. I'm not sure how long you were friends with that woman, but she must have very few options in partners to ruin a friendship over a single man. There are so many men out there, why would she need to steal yours, especially when she already has a boyfriend? Stories like this just make me shake my head. Thank goodness this happened though, because it showed you the kind of narcissists they were, and they only cared about themselves and not your best interests. You now have the opportunity to find better people to associate with. I hope it all works out for you. Comment 4. They will never be happy. They will always be wondering if each other is cheating. Your best revenge is to take care of yourself and find someone loyal. That would absolutely make them feel lower than dirt. Comment 5. The best revenge is living well. This story is titled, A Year Since D-Day Has Finally Arrived. I don't have anybody in my life still around who has gone through infidelity before, so I'm turning to this subreddit. It's been nearly a year this month since D-Day, and I just need a place to talk about it and where I am today. I'm sorry this is so long. This is a highly abridged version of events, but just for some backstory. I, 33 male, had known her my entire life and grew up with her as best friends. She helped me get through my own parents' divorce after my mother cheated on my father twice. In college, we started to develop feelings for each other, and began a relationship. 6 years later, we both graduated from college and moved around a bit, we got married, and were so happy. We traveled around the world, our families became intertwined, and it was amazing to be so in love. After having a rough and abusive childhood, I couldn't believe that my life had turned out the way it did, and I felt so incredibly lucky. I remember rushing home every day from work, excited to see the look on her face when I walked through the door. And then one day, she acted cold and distant, just like my mother did to my father. Being able to recognize betrayal is the greatest gift my mother never wanted to give me. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I gave her space for a week, until I came home one day to her where she was a sobbing mess on the couch, confessing to having had an emotional affair with a family friend of hers. I didn't know what to think or feel and was in immediate shock. I didn't tell anyone. Instead, I was young and stupid. Having grown up with her, seeing her in tears immediately brought me back to how she'd run to me when her stepfather abused her. I wanted the pain to go away, and so I swept it under the rug. She expressed what appeared to be remorse and regret, and went no contact with her app. We never talked about it again, and our lives had returned back to normal. Looking back on it now, I don't know how I continued to trust her. Fast forward about 5 years later, March 2020. The pandemic had just hit the US and everyone who could started working from home. Once I started, her cold and distant behavior returned almost overnight. I'll spare all the details, but when I asked her what was going on, I was gaslit and told I needed to seek therapy. That I was paranoid. That there was something wrong with me. That I was acting weird. This kept up for 2 weeks until I was able to get my hands on her phone and confirm that it was not only emotional, but physical as well. She had been seeing her married coworker. I kicked her out, told her I'd be filing divorce ASAP, and she moved in with him, and still does. I've been no contact with her since, except to file our taxes jointly where I requested and received her tax documents. Unfortunately, the state I live in requires an entire year of separation before legal work can begin. I can't begin to explain how hard it is to let someone go you've known nearly your entire life. It feels worse than death. I have 2 months to go until the divorce will be completed. As for today, my life has had some changes since. I went to therapy every other week for 7 months. My therapist was great, and while it helped some, I ended up stopping once I ran out of things to talk about. Each session eventually ended up being a rehash of the previous one. Moved to a new city. Got a new higher paying job with better benefits. Bought my dream car. Started journaling. Learned to bake different kinds of bread. Picked skateboarding back up for the first time since I was a teenager. Made a whole new group of friends. Developed an exercise routine and began eating better. Went on more vacations, safely, that is, than ever before. Became close with my sister, who is now my best friend. Completely changed my clothes and looked nicer. Went from 162 pounds to 128 pounds. For the first time in my life, after having grown up as an insecure nerd, I've had complete strangers regularly compliment my appearance. Despite all this, I completely broke down tonight. Just ugly sobbed into my hands until my face hurt. I reminded myself that healing isn't linear, but this freaking sucks. My own mind feels like a prison that I can't escape, and as hard as I've tried to erase her, I can't. I don't miss her, but I miss us. I miss intimacy. I miss sex. I miss having someone to care for, hold, and make breakfast for. All of this still feels like a nightmare that hasn't ended. Over the past month, I started to have dreams of her every other night, and I wake up angry at myself for it. I keep asking myself why this is happening now. Last week, I decided to dip my toe into online dating, which might have been a mistake, after reading what must have been over 1,000 profiles. I don't think I've ever felt so alone from the rest of the human race. Just, Jesus tap dancing Christ is all I can say. Given our history together, I feel like nobody will ever understand me the way she did, and the idea of finding a new person just seems so insurmountable. I've thought about going back to therapy, but I don't know what to talk about that hasn't already been said a million times before. So, that's about it, I guess. Tomorrow's a new day. Thanks for reading if you've made it this far. Edit, just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I've been reading all your comments and taking them to heart and will continue to do so. I've creeped on some of your post histories to read about your own backstories, which have been truly heartbreaking. As shallow as it may sound, you all deserve so much in life. Comment 1. I think you're more ready to date than you think. It seems overwhelming and that part of you has but turned off for so long, but force yourself to go on a date. I think you just need that experience. It all seems so overwhelming now, so start small. Go on one date, see how it makes you feel. Focus on your emotions and how you interact with someone of the opposite sex. Comment 2. Been there, what you are going through is normal. They say it takes 2 to 5 years to heal. It took me about 4 years to be completely indifferent. You are taking all the right steps. Be patient with yourself. You just went through the most traumatic experience one can encounter. The fact you are getting through this shows you can overcome anything life can throw your way. Comment 3. Your divorce dragging on is a burden. You cannot unclip that final last bond. That is what this is about. Anyone wants closure. As to dating, again, everyone is different and some dive in immediately, but the clever ones take their time. You were cheated on. It's hurtful, emasculating and just plain heartbreaking painful. 365 days and you achieved so much. I think you missed the security of the relationship. Once you are free, the rest will come over time. You are free with no kids, but you have no reason to see her ever again after the divorce is final. There are guys and girls here that need to see their cheater weekly for years. Having to talk to them. Sorting out co-parenting as they fall through one F-up after another. Look at the glass half full. You have a lot to be thankful for. If you have a new relationship, you will be free. Over time memory fade. Her loving caring married partner now has to deal with her. He deserves her and you need to heal and in time move on. Do not minimize this. It's big, but also, do not let the doldrums push you into depression. You are a get up and go guy with what you have done. Comment 4. You're doing everything right. My only concern is your weight. 128 pounds seems awfully skinny for a man of normal height, even if it is considered healthy by standard BMI charts, which don't account for the fact that men typically have more muscle than women the same height. And therefore should weigh more. The average woman in your age group outweighs you by around 40 to 50 pounds, and probably will be self-conscious dating a much skinnier guy. But then, some guys carry their weight, skinny or fat, better than others, so I'm in no position to judge. Other than that, give yourself another year at least to recover. As for no other woman understanding you as well as your ex, would you rather be understood from afar or loved without restriction by the woman in bed next to you? Note from I just read it. I was concerned about the OP's weight issues myself. I dug deeper into the comments, and the op said he is 5'8" and is seeing a doctor about that. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.